All right, guys, how's it going? This one is a very quick video. If you have a girl who's in your mind and you just can't forget her, you just can't, you just keep thinking about her. She constantly comes. It doesn't mean that you're dating her. It doesn't mean you're calling her. You could be single and on the surface, totally normal. But your brain goes back to her all the time. So when you're alone, you wake up in the morning and you think about her, or, you're just daydreaming and you think about her, and it goes on for like a period of time, and it's just like you can't get her out of your mind. You just can't. She just is there, right? And what is going on in your brain, right? I can tell you right now, it's not something normal. That's important to know. So it's not like your brain is not, it's not normal, okay? It's a aberration. So it's like a problem that you need to get rid of. And what it is it's called limerence, okay? So it's like you can't let go of this person for some reason. And there's no real reason for it. So she could be long gone, okay? She could be, literally she could have passed away. She could be married. It could be a girl from high school. It is, there's a number of things. It could be a girl who, I guess it could even be a girl that you never dated, I suppose. A girl in your office, and just keep thinking about her. And what your brain is doing, okay, now I'm going to go inside your brain. Your brain is saying, okay, you're ignoring reality. So reality's in front of you, right? But you don't care about that. You don't care about that. Reality, whatever. You're thinking of what you're kind of what is it called? You're like objectifying her in a way that you're thinking like she could be better. She could be a very great person. She was born a great person. She was a great person before. If she just saw me, or if she just would have not had that childhood, or if she just would have not had that heartbreak, and so you're thinking like if this wouldn't have happened to her, right? It's usually something. Generally, limerence is something that is beyond her control, or it could be a mistake she made that in a sense, you're kind of regretting that she made a mistake that hurt her, and she's blaming that why you guys aren't together, or why she's fucked up, or whatever. So what you're doing is it's almost like you have a car that's like it's been smashed up, but you're like, if I wouldn't have done this car would be fine, right? But you can't do that with a car because you're like, no, now the car is fucking smashed, right? And with a girl that you can't get out of your mind, you just cannot get out of her mind. It just keeps coming there. You got to know that it's like a loop. Your brain is stuck on a software loop, and you need to get out. You need to break free from limerence. It will absolutely never stop. It just keeps going and going and going. The first thing you need to do is you need to understand that this is not love, okay? Now, you might not even call it love as a guy in your mind, right? Because it's this deep longing. You're imagining what she could have been. See, if she wouldn't have had that childhood, right? If she wouldn't have had that father, if she wouldn't have had that heartbreak, right? When she was young, then she was destined. Her DNA, her basic girlhood, herself was perfect. Okay? So, what's going on here? How do you break this? First thing you got to realize is that you, okay, now this is think about this one. This is like heavy. So you are complimenting yourself. Okay? So you think, okay, I'm idealizing her, and you kind of feel good about it. You kind of feel like, that's the weird thing about this one, is you're like, I'm doing the right thing. Like I see the best in people. And you might even think like, oh, I really see her true self, see what she could have been, because I'm that kind of person. I care, I care so much, and I see I'm so empathetic. I see her, what she could have been, and she went down this road, and then this and this and this. Okay, so what you're doing, okay, has nothing to do with her. You're complimenting yourself. That's the first thing you need to realize. You're not saying, hey, she's a great person. You're saying, I'm a great person because I see, I care. It's almost like a God thing. You're like, not only do I see what she should have been, as if you know, right? And okay, here's the other thing, is as a girl with problems, okay, so let's say personality disorder, she's going to look for an empathetic person, okay? And she knows this limerence thing, like guys get stuck in this, okay? They get stuck and they're stuck, you know what I mean? So what she's going to do, and I'm not saying that your girl did this, but this is how she can trick you into limerence. And it often is the case with a broken girl, right? Is that she knows that if you look at her now, the way she's acting, you're not going to fall in love with her, right? You're going to break up because she's doing bad things. But if she can trick you into thinking that she was born as this sweetest fucking awesome thing, right? And then because of these things, now she's doing this. And so you don't need to look at these things in the moment because that's not really her. She's essentially, what it's kind of like she's trying to say is like, she is this beautiful thing. And if you believe in her, she'll become that again. And she will, be rebirthed. And you will be the one essentially who saved her. And she might even say this. I had a girl tell me, she said, I had a dream. And the thing is, at the time, I thought she was weird, but now I know for sure. The dream, there was no dream, okay? What it was is she used a dream. So she said, I had a dream, okay? And I have blue eyes, right? She said, and there was a blue puma, right? Those cats, right? And the blue puma basically saved me, right? And maybe you're the blue puma. So she was selling two stories. One is you're trusting her, okay, that she was this awesome person. That probably is not true. She probably very likely, what happens? Like, why do we have laws and everything? Because we recognize that if someone commits a crime and a crime and a crime, they're going to commit another crime, right? So their past behavior equals their current behavior. Why do we have credit ratings? Is because we know if the guy didn't pay his bills once, he's not going to pay the next time, and he will not pay his bills. He's not reliable. What happens to a guy who pays his bills? He pays his bills now. He pays his bill before. He paid it before that. That's his habit. That's essentially his way of living, right? He pays his bills. A girl who's messed up was always messed up, okay? She's a fucking mess. She's broken, and she probably was a fucking bad kid. Stealing her fucking, cheating, lying to her parents, always being sneaky, stealing other people's food, snarking on people when she was little. The whole thing is a fabrication. So what she's doing, okay, and this is the interesting thing. Have you ever seen the movie? There's a great movie. It's a very sad movie, and it's called Glass Castles. And in that movie, I've only seen it once, and it was years ago, but the father is selling a dream to his family. And they're actually, in reality, in the moment, they're living like a miserable life, being squatters and sneaking into places. He's basically teaching the kids to be criminals, essentially. Like that old movie, Paper Moon, right? But he's selling them a glass castle in the sky. And the glass castle is what it's going to be like someday. One day. So that's what she's doing. She's selling you. Limerence is when someone's selling you a glass castle, okay? And you're like, yeah, I don't need to look, okay, at the person now because I have this person who has this beautiful possibilities and is is going to love me for me and is going to be grateful to me. I mean, I'm the blue puma, right? I'm the one that saved her from what she's doing, which supposedly she doesn't like doing. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Is one, people sell you this when they're trying to detach you from reality. Detaching you from reality is the number that's why I don't think people should do too many drugs, because when you do too many drugs, if you do LSD too much, if you do too much psychedelics, for example, I believe me, I love I'm not saying that. I'm saying like too much. What happens is you slowly lose touch with reality. You know, I think somebody who's stuck in something and they do psychedelics once or twice, a few times, whatever in their life, that can be a beautiful thing. It can help you to break free from things. But if you start to slowly detach from reality for too long, then it becomes a problem because you have nothing to fall back on. And what happens when you detach from reality? You tend to hang out with other people who are in the same mindset. So you see the similarity? It's like, oh, we're going to be rich because we're going to come up with some great idea. It's going to be so easy. We're going to be super rich. And then meanwhile, what's reality? So that's kind of like the same thing as the girl who is the perfect little girl who was born with she was born like this just angel, loving. And she was just she had so many possibilities. She was empathetic. She wanted love and children. And she was just, if it wasn't for the world, right? You know what I mean? Then she would be perfect, right? There's a lot of holes in this story, but when you break them down, you can see those holes. Like one of those holes is in the glass castle she's selling you with limerence. She's saying, hey, I would have been perfect if it wasn't for these people. And that's, as an adult, whenever somebody blames what they're doing now on what somebody else did before, they're not taking responsibility. Because the reality is we all encounter difficulties, right? We all encounter friends who do bad things and encourage us to go with them, right? But not all of us go with them, okay? We don't always go along with them. We say, I don't want to do that, right? Because we make a decision, okay? Of course, there's pressure in the moment. Everybody feels that pressure to, like when you're a kid, to do something wrong or to cheat on a test or to not face reality, whatever it is, something that's not good for us. We feel pressure. We encounter people who try to trick us, steal from us, make us less. If let's say they feel jealous of us, they might want us to not do so well in school or whatever. We all encounter bad bosses and bad weather and disease. Like everybody encounters that, but how we react to it is what determines who we are. Okay, so what this glass castle is saying essentially, it's almost like you're focused on this imaginary past that she supposedly was, or this imaginary person, right? But you're not saying, wait a second, we all live in reality. We're all responsible for ourselves. So what am I doing today, right? That's the number one thing you got to ask yourself. You can talk about, this happened to me and this, but the bottom line, at the end of the day, doesn't matter what your parents did, doesn't matter where you grew up, it doesn't matter if you went to jail, doesn't matter if you did well or didn't do well. At the end of the day, doesn't even matter if you won gold medals and you were super rich before. What about today? That's the key thing in life. You always got to come back to today. And you say, hey, wait a second. I was a football star in high school does not mean anything right now. Why am I not doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing at work? Why am I not treating people with respect here in this situation? Why am I not, studying this thing I'm supposed to study? Why am I not facing myself, right? Okay, so you need to get back to the moment. What is the moment? So one of the ways you can break free of limerence, I'll give you a couple different ways. So one of them is, of course, just understanding that this is a software glitch. If you know any old software, you remember when you were like in the DOS and like old Windows, it would just get into a loop and it would just keep going. I'm sure there's happens now, but not as much as before. Before it would always happen. You'd see it just kind of doing the stupid circle coming back. That's what your brain's doing. Okay, so it's not a software program. It's a glitch. So it's a glitch. And the glitch is because, well, one, you tend to have glitches, okay, just in general, with people who are trying to sell you glass castles, trick you, right? That's because they're encouraging the glitch. I mean, they're saying, hey, look, if you love me, okay, then just you can look the other way when I cheat, right? Because there was this perfect person who was hurt. And if they cheat, well, then you got to forgive them because it wasn't really them doing it. It was their brokenness. It's all a story. It's like a Nike fucking marketing strategy, right? They're doing this. They're selling you this marketing strategy, and you need to say, oh, wait a second. One, like I said before, it's not love. Okay, limerence is not love. No, this is a loop. Something's wrong. Okay, something is wrong here in my brain, and the other thing is what's going on today. Like, what is this person doing today? So look at her now. What does she look like? Would I date this face today? Because you can attack it on many levels. Sometimes I will attack it on another level. So let's say, for example, limerence is happening with me. And it's this exactly, let's say it's exactly what I'm telling you now, the exact story. I can attack it many ways. I can say, oh, what is she doing now? She's doing this thing I don't like. She's doing this thing that I wouldn't accept from anybody else, but I'm accepting it because I see this beautiful thing that she wants to be, and she wants me to be the one that brings her into that. It's all bullshit, okay? But sometimes that's not enough for me. Sometimes I need more. So what I do, and this is like very valuable, and this is my basic, one of your fucking tools as a man, and I've never heard this. Nobody ever does this. This is Ronin special here, is you look at her face and you say, is that face younger than when I met her? Okay? It's not that it's fair. This is all in your mind. This is to help you to break up. Someone's abusing you. Someone is tricking you, okay? You need to break out. You don't break out. People try to break out of things by being super nice and this and that. You gotta get hardcore in your brain. You want to break out of something? You got to get fucking hardcore. So what I do is I look at her suddenly. Now, if I like a girl, if it's my friend or my sister, I'm never going to think this. But with the girl that you're trying to break up with, this I found to be very helpful. And also true, too. There's a lot of truth to it, too. I'll just look at her face. And I'll go look at old pictures of her. A year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And say, does she look better? Does she look younger? Is she prettier? Are her boobs like stiffer? Nipples? Is her pussy tighter? Is her hair less stringy? Is it more silky? And it always comes out like, no, she is now worse than when I met her. And that happens every day with a woman. She always gets worse. So this makes it very easy to break up with women because you realize like there's nothing to hold on to. You're holding on to a melting ice cream cone, basically. I'm not saying you should never do it. If the girl gives you kids and you love her and she treats you nice, okay, you can put up with it for sure, But when she's pulling shit, you got to pull this one out. You got to look at her face and say, why don't I replace her with a younger one? Like that is a smart idea. Like even if the younger one was just as evil as her, she's like way tighter and way younger, right? Get a girl 5 years younger, 10 years younger. You might have to go to another country. You might, whatever, just get a younger girl. And I'm serious, as a man, it's very enjoyable. Like, let's say you have a girl who's 42, okay? Let's say you're 42. So you married her in high school, whatever. So now you realize, oh my God, this is limerence. Like, I was sold a glass castle by this girl, and it's been happening my whole life. I mean, we're planning a fucking Philippine summit. Come with us in mid-November, and come with us, get a nice 22-year-old, 20 years younger, and spend some time with her. Look at her eyes. Look at her hair. Look at the way she laughs. Look at how much she laughs. Look at the type of laugh she does. Look at the way she enjoys eating. Young people enjoy things in a way that older people often don't. So watch the way she enjoys the taste of ice cream, the way she loves to laugh when she's on a roller coaster, right? And contrast that with the old hag that you had before, who was worn out, tired, bored of you, bored of life, out of shape, wrinkly skin around the eyes, angry looking face and smile. And then look at the angelic youth that you're hanging out with now. There's something very special, but that will help you. So in a nutshell, this is the Ronin way. It's not some repeat of some fucking psychologist. But I'm telling you, this helps a lot. First, you figure it out. My brain's in a software loop. And then you say, okay, what's the loop? What's the dream? What's the glass castle she's selling me in the sky? It's like, we're going to build this glass. Right now we live in this terrible place and we're squatting, but in the future I'm going to build you this glass castle with the sun coming through it up in the sky. And then you say, wait a second. Maybe that glass castle is never going to happen. I mean, you gotta have humor, right? You don't just say it's stupid. You have to say, maybe I won't be living in a glass castle. This helps. This does help a lot. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Just say, maybe the odds are low of me living in a glass castle, floating in the sky with her becoming this perfect woman who loves me, like they did. I mean, like there's that song, I love you like a love song, baby. I love that song because it's so true. The idealized love song, like. It's once in a while you do love somebody like a love song. It's like you fucking just resonate with her. Right? So she's going to love you like a love song, man. She's going to, I love you like a love song, baby. She's, you're up in the glass castle. Just imagine the whole thing. Just laugh at the whole thing, right? And that's all she does all day is like flirt around and sing that song. And, like the house is floating up in the sky. There's no wires or pipes coming up, just sun shining behind you. It's like one of those Christian bookstore pictures of the sky. It's like the rays of light coming out from behind the thing, and you're like Hercules up there. Just say, what? Maybe we're not going to float in the sky with electricity, wireless, and water coming from nowhere. Maybe. maybe there's a chance that I'm not going to live this fantasy she's telling me. Maybe. Okay, so let's just look at her now. What is she doing now? And then look at her actions, okay? And you've already looked at her face, you've looked at her body, and let's face it, women get ugly and old. That's the way it is, man. And that helps you as a guy. For girls, it's harder because guys get pretty, when they're older, they can be pretty attractive, right? For guys, it's a lot easier. You got to use this one. Don't feel bad about this one. You're using it for a good reason. One, it's true, right? You can forgive it for a very good girl, but when a girl's not good, you got to use this one, man. You say, look at her face, like it's fucking crow's feet, and her teeth are all fucked up. And she, like let's say you dated her in high school, right? And now she's 42. You say, just look at her, super realistic. Like would a studly, college football player pick her? You're like, this woman's like over the hill. She's absolutely destroyed. She's loose. She's fucking hot dog down a hallway. She's angry. She's basically, her personality is never going to change. It's set in stone. She's got all these boring things she does all the time. What does she do every day? She goes and talks to this other friend. How cool is this friend? Not cool, right? What is she interested in? You think, well, she's just fucking some stupid shit. This music she listens to, whatever. You're like, wait, this is an unattractive person. This is an old, worn out, angry person who's getting worse every day. Like literally every single day. She will get worse from that point. Not until now, but from that point. So not only do you have a worn out, stretched out, miserable person in front of you, okay, even if she used to be pretty and sweet in high school when you were dating her, when you guys are both in high school. But now she's not. And then you say, wait, in 10 years, is she going to be worse? And then start looking around your neighborhood at like women that are 10 years older, walking their dogs and stuff. And then just say, whoa, fuck, this is going to get even worse. And then laugh at the glass castle. Laugh at yourself, because it all goes down. I'll end on this. You believed that your love and that you had this empathy, it was all a big hand job for yourself. Because you're saying, I'm so empathetic and loving that I see what she should have been, and laugh at yourself and say, no, actually, the reality is everything I've said is that she wasn't nice to you. She wasn't a good person, right? She wasn't as pretty as she is as you imagined, right? She was getting worse. She was not nice to you at all. There was nothing good about her. And you complimented yourself in order to overcome the dissonance of the reality of what she actually was in front of you from the glass castle she sold you. So there's one thing you got to realize: it's all a big compliment to yourself. Once you realize that, it'll be easier, because as long as you think the reason why this is happening is because you love her, right? It's not love. You're not loving her. You're loving yourself. But you're saying, oh, I'm so great. I can see these things in people. And I can, like God himself, I can bring them back to what they were. And you got to laugh, because at the end of the day, you say, what are the odds the glass castle was true, that she was this perfect kid? No, she saw you're empathetic. She made it all up, and she did it before. She knows how to get guys into this loop of love while they dream of the past and forgive her for, it's not even the past. They're dreaming of a dream, basically, okay? Oh, I shouldn't even say past. They're dreaming of a dream that they know guys would fall in love with, right? Every guy wants a young girl who loves her and is really sweet, right? She's telling you that she was that. She probably was like getting pounded at really young, and she was like just fucking crazy, and you know what I mean? She probably was like that, very likely, is that she was never this sweet girl. In fact, I think the girls who sell you this glass castle cannot have been that. The girls that were actually that, they're not even like aware how sweet they were, until like maybe they get quite old and they look back at their pictures and they're like, wow, I was so innocent. I was so trusting. I've seen older women do that. And it's like, they're the ones who really were, right? They're not selling you a dream, because they don't even think to sell it. That's who they are. You know what I mean? Like, you don't sell something that you are. You sell something that you're not, right? Otherwise, you don't have to sell it, because it's so fucking obvious, right? Right? So there you go. Follow those steps. Laugh at yourself. It all goes down to you. You are complimenting yourself here, okay? And when you go and look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm complimenting myself here. This has nothing to do with her, actually. I am saying that I am so smart. I am so empathetic that I can, ignoring the fact that you're believing that she was actually whatever the fuck she told you, which, like I said, anybody who is like that is not going to tell you, right? So instead, you are knowingly believing a lie, a glass castle from a worthless, aging, mean, useless person, because you're complimenting yourself. Stop complimenting yourself. Say, maybe I don't know. Maybe I believed something that wasn't true. Maybe I was stupid on this one. And next time, you always look at the reality in the moment. Never what she would have been, what she wants to be. No, now. Who is she now? What does she do now? Not what is she going to become. Not what was she before. Look at her face. How silky is her skin? How pretty is her hair? How silky is her hair? How supple is her body? Like, how funny is her humor? How giggly is she? How girly is she? How feminine is she now? Right now. And you will be like, okay. You're going to get a much better vision of reality. And that, my friends, in the end of the day, is when you no longer dream and you look at the girls. This will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. All right, I hope that's good. Let me know how it works, because I think a lot of guys need this one.